Okay, so let's pretend that the actor who plays Jacob in the Twilight movies, let's say he got fired and replaced by Brad Pitt. Uh, Here's what we're going to do. First, make sure that your layers palette is open in Photoshop. So go up here to Window, and halfway down you'll see the word Layers. When you have that open, you'll see that here's the picture of Jacob, and you can see that it's locked. I'm going to make a copy of that. To do that, I'm going to drag it down here right next to the trash can. There's this page icon. Drop it on there, and that will create a new layer. Next, I want to open up the picture of Brad Pitt. So I have this picture. Go over and find the PS logo. It's a blue box. Drop it on there, and then you have that picture. So let's kind of put these things in place. What I need to do is take this picture of Brad Pitt and move it on top of the picture of Jacob. So to do that, I'll use my move tool, which is letter V, and I'll drop Brad Pitt's picture right there. I'm going to close the picture of Brad Pitt, and then I'm going to take this picture and stretch it out. And so here's a picture of Jacob, and there's Brad Pitt. So what I want to do is I just need to compare these two. First off, I see the head for Brad Pitt is too big, so I'm going to press Command T, which is transform, and hold down the Shift key, and in the top left corner I'm going to drag this smaller. Now whenever you adjust the size of something, you want to uh, make sure you click on the check mark, which is at the top up here. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I want to match up the eyes of these two characters, so I'm going to lower the opacity on the Brad Pitt layer. So I'll come over here, and then on opacity I'll slide that over. Okay, so now I'm going to take Brad Pitt's character. Again, I'm using the move tool, letter V, and I'm just going to match up the eyes like that. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. What you're looking for is you want the eyes in approximately the same position and matching up the ears if you can see them. Next, I'm going to raise the opacity on the Brad Pitt layer. So I'll go over here to opacity, lift that up, and what I want to do is erase around Brad Pitt. To do that, we're going to use a layer mask. Down here on the bottom of the layers palette, you'll see a button that says Add Mask. So I click on that. And to erase, you use black. So over here on the left side, you can see black on white. If you don't see that, there's a little reset button here. And then hit B for brush. And then all we're going to do is go around here and we're going to erase. Now what I suggest that you do is you use a hard brush for this initial one. So like a number 9 or 19 works. And then go around here and just kind of erase around his head. You want to keep the neck on there, but obviously you want to get rid of the dress shirt that he has on. Now if you're having problems seeing what you're erasing, you can go over here to the layers with Jacob and turn off the eyeball, and then you'll see just the Brad Pitt picture. And then you can also use selection tools like lassos or magic wand to highlight things. For right now I'm just kind of going for a rough edit here. Okay, so let's turn back on the Jacob layer. And oh my gosh, it looks perfect. It looks just like the Jacob layer. Okay, not really. So I'm going to turn off the Brad Pitt layer. And let's take a look here. On this picture, it's kind of like in a girl's picture where they have long hair. Really what you have is this skin layer here that you kind of want to cut out. So there's different techniques. If it's just a person with short hair, you can just put the Brad Pitt head on top. But in this case, I think you have to cut out the inside of Jacob's face and put Brad Pitt underneath, if that makes sense. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to click on the Jacob layer, and we're going to add a layer mask there. And then I'm going to just erase his face. And I'm not seeing it here, so I'm going over to the right side. I'm going to turn off the background layer. Okay, so now I can see where I'm erasing it. Now I'm going to leave some skin on the edge, so in case I need to match that up with the Brad Pitt character. Okay, the next step is I'm going to turn on Brad Pitt's layer, and then I'm going to put Brad Pitt on the layer underneath Jacob. Okay, wow, that looks really cool. And then I'm just going to go ahead and see if I need to make some adjustments here. And so apparently I didn't erase enough here on the Jacob layer, so let's zoom in a little bit, which is Command +. And so right here we see like this white layer. I'm going to go back up to Jacob's layer, click on his layer mask, hit B for brush, and then I'm just going to match that up. So again, right now I'm erasing Jacob's layer, not Brad Pitt's. Whenever you're on the side of hair, sometimes you can use like a small soft brush to mix the two together. So I'm going to go up here and choose a soft brush. And then if you look closely, it kind of blends in the hair with the skin of the person underneath it. So that's kind of a nice trick to mix the two together. Now you can see over here on the left side I went too far. To change that, just press the letter X key or go over here to the left and change it to white, and then you can paint back on the part where you went too far. So I'm going to slide up the Brad Pitt picture, and you'll see that he's missing some neck here. There's a couple ways to do this. Let's turn on the Jacob layer. And so you see there's some skin from the Jacob layer. What you could do is either erase the Brad Pitt neck like this. So hit his layer mask, hit B for brush, make sure it's on black. And so all I'm really doing there is I'm showing the Jacob layer there, and I'm just kind of mixing in Brad Pitt on top of that neck. So if you think that works, that's fine. Okay, so next thing we want to do is compare the two pictures. So I'm going to turn off Brad Pitt, and I can see in this picture Jacob Lautner has sort of like a lighter grayish skin color. So we're going to try to simulate that here. So to do that, I'm going to use my eyedropper, which is the letter I, and then I'm going to click on the neck, and what that does is it's going to copy the skin color, but I have to make sure I copy it from the original picture. So here I'm copying the skin color, and over here on the left you can see it's kind of a grayish brown color. And I'm going to add a layer above Brad Pitt, add a layer at the very top, and on this layer I'm going to paint with my brush, letter B, over Brad Pitt's face. You're going to be like, that doesn't look very good. And so we're going to show you how to combine these two together. Okay, so I'm done painting the gray color of Brad Pitt's face. I'm going to go over here, and right above the layer you'll see where it says normal. Change this to a blending mode. In this case we're going to use color. And what it does is it blends that color with Brad Pitt's face. Now you'll notice some problems with this. For example, you can't see his eyes, and his teeth are all the same gray color. So to fix that, on this gray layer we're going to put a layer mask. And then we're going to basically cut out where the eyes are. So make sure your layer mask is highlighted, hit B for brush. I'm going to go over to the left side and reset it so I have black on top. And then all I'm going to do is basically cut through this gray part here. So if I turn off these other layers, you'll see that all I'm doing, it's kind of like a mask, and I'm cutting holes where the eyes are. It's kind of a gray mask. And then I can also do that for the teeth. And I can also do it for the mouth if I choose to do so, depending on how you want to highlight it. And then you can go back and compare your original, which is right there, to your Brad Pitt, zoom out, and now Brad Pitt is Jacob.